Hello, this is Sculpt January number 29, and this time it's female torso. I like the anatomy ones. I always need lots of practice. I don't think you can get enough of it, so really good to be doing that again. It's a really good topic. Started off with the metal balls as normal, just to get a really rough shape, and then went to the snake hook tool. I noticed my auto mirror made a few errors, so the way I deal with that is to put the brush on low detail, paint over it, and then just go into edit mode and fill the faces. Usually that does the trick. So I'm using lots of reference images and just trying to get a decent shape. Most reference images have quite thin females, but I prefer more curves. I imagine they choose thin people to model because then you can see all muscles and bones, structure and things, but I don't find it as aesthetically pleasing. Most of my time is spent just getting the shape, and there's not a great deal of detail work really. Human anatomy can be quite hard because you kind of notice when things are wrong, because most of the time people are looking at people all day. You can get away with a bit with animals and magical creatures or whatever it might be, but with people, if something's wrong and out of place, you might not notice it at first, but other people will when they look at your model. And looking over the footage again, I can see where my mistakes are. Luckily, I think I'm noticing most of them and going back and sorting them out. This was a bit quicker. I had a bit of a crash in the middle. I tried to move some geometry with the snake hook tool when the polygon count was very high. You're much better off using the grab tool when you're going for the sort of detail levels and you've got high geometry, because the snake hook tool is always trying to recreate geometry and therefore it's much more taxing on your processor. I was a bit torn really between a sort of hyper-real character or slightly comical where things are slightly disproportioned. So you get some sort of Disney characters or game characters that have unusual proportions. Wider hips are quite often the case. So I was moving around and changing around a fair bit. And you might see slight pauses where I look at reference images every now and again. I use Pure Ref these days, which I think some people pointed out at the beginning of my journey, that it was a good tool, and I really do like that. You can look at lots of reference images at once and zoom in and out quite easily. I'm not using many different tools here, just the snake hook most of the time and the crease brush. Those are my main two, and occasionally the draw brush, just to fill little bits in. There's certain parts that I find really tough for the female anatomy, and breasts are one of them, because the tendency is just to make them really sort of ball-like, but they're actually more teardrop-like. Using a shiny Metcap material can help quite a lot to just iron out any lumpiness. And this is at the end of the baking process. I skip the bake, but I do the usual ambient occlusion, cavity and normals, and then just mix them together. I use the ambient occlusion with a multiply, mix node, and an overlay for the cavity. I like putting metallic textures onto anatomy sculpts because I think it shows off the detail. So there we have it, number 29, female torso. Thanks ever so much again for all the feedback. It's been really great. I'm almost there, 2 more to go. So get along to Sculpt January, links in the description, and I'll see you there.